on doing what you do, doing what you do. Just keep on doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do. Do what you like, do what you like to do, do what you like, do what you like, do what you like to do. Ain't no one stopping you.
Hey everyone, so if you noticed already, we have two models on this episode of Guam Photography. This is the first time ever that we have two models helping me test out two awesome Fujifilm cameras. And Jasmine is holding the Fujifilm X-T4 that just came out, just released, and Joe's holding the X-H1. So I wanted to do a comparison primarily for portraits, which camera that you should get if you want to get a Fujifilm that has IBIS, in-body image stabilization. And before I go on, if you haven't, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want to see more videos like this. Would you please introduce yourselves?
Hafade, I'm Joneen Terlahi.
Hi everyone, I'm Jasmine Wenza. I was on this channel before. Nice to see you again.
Yes, and I believe this is your third video with us. Yes.
Love it every minute.
Yes.
My first video.
First video.
First video.
It's not my first video. I've been doing this for a while. It's pretty hot up here, summertime.
Yeah.
No wind, so if you notice sweat, that's because it's very humid right now. And this is a couple's photo shoot. And coincidentally, we were supposed to do this a couple months ago, but COVID. And we're doing this during Pride Month in June, coincidentally, which I think is pretty cool.
Perfect time.
Yeah. So we still have some comparisons to do with the cameras, but I've been using both for a little bit. And just by holding both cameras, still not sure which one I would prefer ergonomically. But yeah, we're still gonna keep on shooting. All right. Okay, good. Can you look at camera, please? 1, 2, and 3.
I like these.
So I just want to talk about some of the physical features. Right off, you're going to notice the X-H1 has a top LCD screen, OLED, and it even shows you information while the camera's off, if you have the memory cards in, or how many shots till the memory cards get full. The X-T4 does not have a top screen, but it does have exposure compensation dial. The exposure compensation is actually located on the right side near the screen of the X-H1 camera. Another big difference between the two cameras is the X-T4 actually has a nice articulating screen. You can actually use this for like vlogging. X-H1 doesn't really come out like this. It's not multi-angle like the X-T4. They both have weather sealing, which is pretty good. These cameras, very similar in weight. The X-T4 is only about 1.16 pounds, and the X-H1 is about 1.44 pounds, about 655 grams versus I believe 525 grams. Ergonomics, if I were to hold a camera for an event for hours, it would have to be the X-H1. It is a little bit bigger than the X-T4, but it has a better grip than the X-T4. I think X-T4 is like the best weight and size for travel. So we still have one more wardrobe. But so far, what do you think about the shoes so far?
Man, I love it.
These look so good.
They're really good.
I
The quality is really
them.
nice.
We've been joking around a lot, so I don't know if they're really telling the truth.
We're being for real this
We're
time.
being honest.
This time? So
Just this time we're being.
this time? Okay. We're sweating so much right now, it's like super hot, but Yeah, the photos coming out from both
We
cameras.
love it.
It's awesome.
I want all of it now.
Okay,
can we
okay.
just have it?
Hold on, we can edit some tonight.
okay.
Okay, we'll keep on shooting.
Just keep on doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do. Do what you like, do what you like to do, do what you like, do what you like to do, what you like to do. Just keep on.
So while Jasmin and Jo changes into their second outfit, I just want to talk to you about the internal features. The biggest difference is the Fujifilm X-H1 has an X-Trans3 sensor. It is around 24.3 megapixels. The X-T4 has the X-Trans4 sensor, is around 26.1 megapixels. And some say the X-Trans4 is a little more noisier at high ISO, but I guess more dynamic range in the shadows from what I've been reading online. So people do prefer the X-Trans3 for it to be a little bit more cleaner at higher ISOs. But if you're doing portraits in a bright sunny day like this, the sensors shouldn't matter, and 2 megapixels is a very, very small difference. For autofocus points, X-H1 uses an older autofocusing system, 325 maximum points. It only covers about, I say, 80% of the screen. The X-T4 has 425 autofocus phase detection points, and it covers like 99% of the entire screen. Also, frames per second, X-H1 frames per second is about 8 frames per second. If you add the grip, it goes up to 11 frames per second. The frames per second on the X-T4 can go with continuous autofocus at 15 frames per second. So that is pretty fast. They share the same EVF, 0.75x magnification, 3.69 million dots for the EVF quality. Both share dual UHS-2 cards, so pretty quick. And later on, I'm going to talk to you about battery life, because that's the other main difference that they have. The battery is totally different for the X-T4. One more thing that I realized when doing research on both cameras online, the X-H1 claims to have -1 EV sensitivity for low light, and the X-T4 claims -6 EV for low light. So clearly this would focus better in low light. I think Jasmin and Jo is ready now, and we'll keep on shooting.
What you like to, what you like to do, what you like to do, what you like to do.
1, 2, and 3. All good. Very good. Very good.
We shouldn't care about anyone or anything that brings us down. We shouldn't care about anyone who brings us down. Doing what you do, doing what you do. Just keep on doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do, what you do, doing what you do. Do what you like to, what you like to do, do what you like to, what you like to, what you like to do. Just keep on doing what you do.
So let's talk about the battery. The X-H1 is already down about 2 bars halfway through the photo shoot. The X-T4 is down only 1 bar. The X-T4 does have a new battery. I believe it is the NPW235 battery. The milliamps is almost double the size as the X-H1 battery. And by comparison, the X-H1 battery is a pretty small battery. For 4K video, X-T4 is really awesome. It can go up to 4K, 60 frames per second. Internally records 10-bit at around 400 megabits per second bitrate. The X-H1 can do up to 4K 30 frames per second. It can only record internally 8-bit, and the bitrate is only around 200 megabits per second. So soon we're gonna do a video test side by side with the X-H1 and the X-T4.
Here we have the 4K video comparison, X-H1 on the left, X-T4 on the right hand side. The X-H1 has dual IS on because it's using the 1855 2.8 to f4 lens that has OIS. As you can see, it is very, very stable. The X-T4 on the right hand side is just using its IBIS, with the 16-55 2.8 lens. Now we switch lenses, so now the X-T4 is using dual IBIS with the lens and the image in-body image stabilization, and as you can see, it is very stable. There are some slight color differences. The X-T4 does look more warmer and a little bit more magenta versus the X-H1.
Okay, so I'm going to test out the shutter sound and buffer. This is on continuous mode, RAW and JPEG fine. I'm using the Pro Grade 64 gigabyte. Okay, on 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Pretty quiet shutter. Okay, now it stopped. Okay, now the X-T4. Again, same settings. RAW and JPEG fine. On 3, 1, 2, and 3. I think that filled up faster because it is at 15 frames per second, right?
I think so.
Still clearing. A lot of shots, but it filled up faster. Okay, let's do it again. Sounded quicker, yeah. Okay, X-H1. 1, 2, and 3. I think that's still like 20, 25, 30? Yeah, okay. X-T4.
Oh my god.
I think more shots, but of course faster. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. Really nice. Good color. Yeah, so side shots. I think this will do side. Okay. And then go, yeah, and then both your hands.
We are who we are. Why don't I be
Okay, so this is the eye autofocus on Jo. So right now I can't detect Jo's face. Now I can detect Jo's face. Zooming in a little bit. So it's not that bad. Now the eye box came in, but zooming out I noticed it was just face detect. So zooming in, then we get Jo's eye. Okay, let's try the X-T4. Okay, so this is the eye autofocus on the X-T4. As you can see, even far away, the X-T4 detects Jasmine's eye. That's pretty quick. Okay, zooming in. Stays on pretty quick. Jasmine, can you move around a little bit? Left and right? Yeah, the X-T4 clearly has better eye autofocus. Wow, that's really great autofocus. Okay.
Ain't no one stopping you.
All right, so we are done with our photo shoot. It was super hot. At one point I felt really dizzy. I thought this was a dream because I didn't know I was doing a photo shoot after I was crouching down and then getting up really quick. I guess the blood just rushed to my head and I'm like, where am I? But I think the photos, well, I know the photos from looking at both of the cameras came out really good. If I had a choice to choose which Fujifilm camera, it's going to be a hard decision because the X-T4 that Joe's holding has very good autofocus, has very good IBIS in-body image stabilization, and the screen flips out for vlogging. The X-H1 has a nice screen at the top, kind of reminds me of a DSLR, where DSLRs have the info screen at the top of the camera. I like the way it feels on my hands. The grip is really good. And the screen does flip out a little bit if I want to get some low shots. But I'm really into technology, and I will go with the newest camera, the X-T4. But your opinion, how about you, Joe? Which camera would you go for?
I like both of them. Yeah, they both look the same to me.
Size doesn't matter, right? The big camera.
But the size is really,
yeah,
this is really nice.
convenient.
Well, I would go with what you chose too, because it's small and it outperforms this one. So
It does, yeah. I think, well, tonight we're going to see images from both cameras on the computer, and I'm pretty sure that we won't be able to tell the difference. but it's just, I guess, the usability what you're looking for the camera. But you can't go wrong with either camera.
Right.
But if you go for the older one, of course, you save about $700.
Wow.
Yeah, if you go for the older one. But then I guess if you want latest tech and the screen, so you can do vlogging, then X-T4, yeah.
This is awesome. All right, let's check out the picture.
Yeah, I had fun today.
Me too.
Yeah,
This is my
high
first time. I want to high five.
Okay.
All of us.
Together.
So weird. I never really had two models on the show before the YouTube channel.
That was so much fun. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for helping me out do the review on both these cameras.
Loved it.
Thank you, everyone.
I'm going
Bye.
to put what she did with one of her videos. Follow me on Instagram. JO_WHOA.
See, usually I say that now. I guess the heat got to me. I forgot to say that. But of course, I'm going to put it. Oh, my mask is falling off. Put it right here for you, right here for you. Please follow them.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
All right, we are home now. Let's look at some raw files from the Fujifilm X-H1 and the Fujifilm X-T4. What I'm going to do is set the profile from Adobe Color to Camera Pro via Standard. I'm doing that now to the X-T4 and also to the X-H1. And I'm going to Library and compare them both together side by side. X-H1 will always be on the left hand side, and as you can see, there's very little difference between the two cameras. The X-T4 does seem slightly warmer. Using the same lens, XF16-55 2.8, I did my best to make sure both cameras were on auto white balance, auto ISO, and also shooting both RAW and JPEG fine. Zooming in, you can't really tell, like there's a huge difference. Even the 2 megapixels on the X-T4, it is very hard to tell. Okay, our next set of photos, it is halfway through the shoot. Again, X-T4 setting it to Camera Pro via Standard. Okay, colors changed there. And X-H1 Camera Pro via Standard. Now I do see right away, I'm going to show them side by side. The X-H1 is a little bit cooler than the X-T4. And remember when we were doing the side-by-side 4K video comparison, the X-T4 did show it was slightly warmer with a little bit more magenta tone than the X-H1. But with these photos here, you can really see the difference. But of course with the X-H1, you can easily just increase the white balance to make it warmer. Then going back to the library, they look identical. Yeah, zooming in, both similar ISO, X-T4 320, X-H1 400, very similar. It is really, and these are both unedited. Really hard to tell between these two cameras. The images coming out. This is my favorite photo from the shoot, and it is edited. My advice is, if you have the Fujifilm X-H1, you may just decide to keep it. The difference in IBIS isn't that much, but if your importance falls on better battery life and the screen that flips out so you can do vlogging, then you may want to upgrade from the X-H1 to the X-T4. But if those two doesn't really concern you, the better battery life and the screen, then just keep the X-H1. I think ergonomics is one of the most important factors in deciding on a camera. But if you're new to Fujifilm and you're thinking about getting Fujifilm with IBIS, then of course get the X-T4. Thank you as always for watching Guam Photography, and if you haven't, please subscribe.